Hi everyone, welcome to this change program, 30 days to change, grow and transform. And this is one of many that I've created. So if you're new to the journey, welcome. If you're new to my work, welcome. If you're not and you're staying and you're giving it a go, that's brilliant. And it'd be great to get some feedback as to how you manage the topics, what you thought about them, and what you discovered when you started to do the journal prompts or apply any of the techniques that we're having on this journey around spiritual awakening and developing your own personal power journey. So what are we looking at today? Let's have a... So do you get bored? Do you get bored a lot? Do you not know what to do? You don't know what lights you up? You think that boredom is something you should be doing something instead. So tune in, because I'm going to talk about this topic and why boredom and the power of routine, noticing what lights you up, is a great way of moving forward. So first of all, many people fear routine and boredom, believing it means that they're stuck and uninspired. But today's wisdom is this: routine is a sacred container. It's where the subconscious gets space to breathe and speak, and it's where ideas land. So think about the most magical times in your life. How many of those were born from stillness? So the Hermit card is related to this topic of boredom for this session. And it teaches us that silence is sacred. Is it boredom? And is boredom the enemy? It's a compass. If you feel bored, ask what is missing. What could make this moment feel more alive? So do you know, like often parents talk about their kids and they say, I'm bored. And we just say, oh, just find something to do. Just crayon, be creative, get your paints out, go and play football. But actually being bored is not wrong. And sometimes we need to admit that we need some rest and relaxation, and we can just lie there and look at the stars or listen to the trees as they sway in the wind. And sometimes out of those moments comes the most inspiring ideas and creativity, or the real urge, not the one that pushes you to do something, the real urge of, oh, I'm just going to text my friend. Oh, I think I'll write a paragraph on that bit of work I'm working. Oh, I think I'll get my book out. So if we think we're feeling uninspired or we're bored, it may be that we just have to trust that actually there's a whole lot more going on underneath. So you can start to track your energy throughout the day. And what that means is you can, let's see if I've got a spare bit of paper. I used to do this with the kids actually when I was working in the school. So your energy day to day shifts. So a good way to track it, and you can do this for say 7 days, and some of you will have tracks on your phone. So if we say +10 is feeling amazing and -10 is not feeling amazing at all, and at the beginning of the day, say we say it's 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. I mean. Okay, so I've got 6 a.m. and that is just one day. Okay, and so what I get the kids to do, say, all the adults, you might say, when you woke up this morning, like the moment you open your eyes, how are you feeling? +10, -10. So you might say, I might say today I felt a 5. Okay, so then I put on there, wake up. And then I go and have a bath and do some yoga, and I've moved to an 8 because I like that. I like the stillness. Okay, so that's now 7 and 8 o'clock. Then imagine that I'm driving to one of my previous jobs and there was lots of change going on and it wasn't that nice. And I get there for 9 o'clock and I start to feel a bit blur. So I might go back down to a 2. And then I go and have a meeting. It's really inspiring. They've decided to work on a new project. I like doing new projects. And I go back up to a 7. So as you can see on this, I'm putting the +10, -10 here. Let's see if you can see it properly. It's a bit fuzzy. I don't know why this keeps coming up fuzzy. So that's +10, -10. And now that says 6 a.m. when I woke up. That's the first activity there. And that's where I woke up and I thought, yeah, I feel great. So I've marked it at 5, did some yoga, and meditation, and I moved up and I felt great. Went to work, felt a bit blur, come back, went to a meeting, did a project, and I was really excited about it. So my energy went there. So if this was a young person that I'd worked with in the past, or a client, for example, who was currently in a toxic situation, they might wake up and they might already be a -2. So I'm going to do it there. And then there's an argument or a drama or something at home, and they feel really depressed again, and they're a -8. And now what I'm doing, and this is what I used to do with clients, this is -10. So now it's -8, now it's -9, is we go down in our mood. So I'm just giving you an example of, I wake up, felt great. Some days I don't, but today I'm just using an example. So if I carried on with that, I might then go back down to 3 because now I'm aching a bit and I'm a bit distracted. I need some food. It's 12 o'clock. So now I've gone down to a 3. I've had some food and it goes up. So this is just this idea of tracking these time segments in your life. And if you keep going down like this, what you can eventually do is you start to, so if this was my client now, and then they were at home, what we start to do is track. We start to join them up, and now you start to get a graph. So they're feeling a bit blur, and they're still depressed, and they go to the doctor, and they're still depressed, and they go and have a meeting with a support worker, and they're still depressed. And then they go, they have to walk down, and they're tired. But then they go to a workshop, and it's first time in ages, their mood lifts. So this is how throughout the day, you can do this every hour. I used to go through this lesson by lesson with the kids, and you just start to track your mood. And if you do one of these a day, you might start to see, and one of the things we was talking about at the weekend at the festival, with this lady Katie, who works with women around their periods and their cycles and their moods and everything that affects them. She also gets them to track their moods throughout the month as well, because it can indicate that it is a direct correlation with their hormones and their cycles, or it can be a correlation of something else, something to do with that. And also it's great if you did this every day and you start to see that you're running like this. If I was working with a kid that was having a lot of problems at home and just was disengaging from school, what I tended to see, and I'll show you, and this would give me a really good indication, is they rarely ever come out of feeling depressed and anxious into neutrality. If they did have those moments, we built on the moments that made them feel better. So even if that was only one moment in the day, and we had a teacher at the school, he was great with the kids and he would just have these random conversations with them, but I could tell they were really meaningful for these children. If though you are mostly up here and you dip, so that could be, am I hungry, am I tired, have I had enough rest, is there something playing out in my relationship? And you can start to look, because our emotions are indicators of something that's going on. So that'll give you an idea. If you want help deepening your understanding of using tools like this, then do contact me, because they're just really useful for you to get to know yourself. And for clients where they've had a lot of depression and anxiety in their lives, starting to track when they're starting to feel better, they might actually start to notice more and more they feel better. But when their mood dips again, they forget that they've made those gains. And that's why it's really important. You could have a journal, just an empty journal that you can use just for tracking, where you put in every day. And then you could every week get an average and then have a look at what average you're staying at. So many people do fear boredom and routine, and like I said, it leads them to think that maybe they're stuck or uninspired, or maybe, you've gone through some change and transition and found that really difficult, and that's had an impact on you. So your body is kind of calling you to be more still and get more rest, even temporarily in those moments. So you can ask yourself, when you're bored? Am I tired? Do I just need to lay here until inspiration comes? And it will come. Trust the process. Or what would make the moment feel more alive? But if you're flat, neutral, anxious, depressed, and bored, then we need to also address the anxiety and depression. We need to address those moods. So, like I said, track those daily energy shifts and see also, is there anything that lifts you up and makes you feel more alive? So, like I said, when I get up and do yoga, for a long time after my car accident, I could feel really heavy. My mind was heavy. I had headaches. I was aching everywhere. But slowly I'd come out, I could say I felt like a -3 or 10 when it was probably pain all the time. But I'd slowly feel my energy coming up as I was doing more stretches, more yoga, do some meditation, listen to the music, start to get more fluid, and I would move up and I could feel myself over time climbing up out of that experience. But sometimes when I was bored, I would go the opposite and try and fit loads of things in that I hadn't done. So it takes practice basically to gauge where you're at, what's going on, and how to make sense of that. And if you're not used to doing it, it's not always easy. So just try that energy mapping every day, every hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Jot down what were you doing, how did you feel, and what was your energy level like. And then that gives you an indication, is it all internal, or are external things also having an impact on you? So the book recommended for this is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Learn how presence and stillness are portals to your personal truth. The song is Weightless by Marconi Union, scientifically shown to lower anxiety and bring you into a calm, open state. And at some stage, I'll do a video on the power of sound and some of the research that's come out about frequencies and how it influences us. But most people know that if you play a really upbeat tune that you love, you can make a shift. So sometimes it's just a case of doing something like that. But the whole premise of this video is that boredom's okay sometimes, and it might not even be boredom. It might be that you just need rest and you need to integrate, but your ego or your mind is fighting against it, because your mind's saying you're lazy, you should do something. And your ego is fighting with this new you that's developing that says, I don't have to rush around all the time. And the neuroscience shows us that the brain needs downtime to integrate any new learning. So boredom can lead to greater creativity and problem solving, according to a 2014 study in the Academy of Management Discoveries. Routine lowers decision fatigue, freeing cognitive bandwidth for inspiration. So that's the value of routine as well. So the journal prompts are: what parts of my day felt boring or repetitious? Can I find value in those moments? When was the last time I felt genuinely excited or curious? What was I doing? And how might I create more space in my routine for those alive moments? Okay, so let me know what you thought about that, whether or not you've started looking differently at how you frame being bored. Do you always feel like that? And is there actually something else going on underneath? Because sometimes it can be. And sometimes we can create a lot of distraction when actually we've got some feelings that we're experiencing that we don't like to feel. So it's a real balance between doing something, getting active, focusing on something, and letting go, surrendering. So if you listen to that book by Michael Singer, it's excellent. It really, I think, helps us make more sense of this kind of thing. So like and subscribe to my page. I look forward to hearing more from you. If you want a Kickstarter session, then contact me. There's a link below where you can directly book that, or you can email me, ask some questions, or find out more about other things that I've got going on.